What's up? What's up? It's some people that mad at me. I know why them people that mad at me. They don't like my last video. They don't like my last video. And the people that are mad. What up, Crazy Old School and Dr. Blue? What it bees like? What it bees like? What's up? What's up? What's up? But I'm a little cramped with this setup. Let me do that. There we go. Hair's feeling unruly today. What are you laughing at, Crazy Old School? Is it the people that mad at me thing? They don't appreciate my last video. They're mad at me. Yeah, it's like, I mean, I'm not surprised that I got as many downvotes in that video, but nice to be in a good mood regarding Nintendo, ain't it? It is, man. I feel very good, feeling very good. But I was talking about my. You guys can hear me good, right? Let me make sure I got levels popping. Levels, there we go. What was I saying? Oh yeah, my last video about about the 3D Mario collection, 3D All Stars not being so all star, being lazy. I'm not surprised that I got downvotes. It's okay to get downvotes. I know a lot of people are afraid of them, but you got to challenge the audience sometimes. You can't just go with the flow. I agree it was lazy, says a Crazy Old School. Jarion, was this Nintendo smokescreen from the Mario stuff? Maybe. But yeah, you got to challenge the audience. You can't just go with the flow. Tell them what you think they want to hear. And the thing about getting the downvotes is that, I didn't even know. Like, I hadn't been on the video pretty much all day. And then Retro Death from the Juicy Loose podcast every Monday night hit me up or he left a comment on the thing, so I got a notification saying that I don't understand what's up with all the salt. Because when I left the video, it was like 20 likes and maybe 2 dislikes, and it blew up after that, you know. I got all those downvotes, so I was expecting a ton of comments of hatred, blah blah blah, but no, I didn't get any. Pretty much the same comments I saw last time I clicked off the video with 20 likes and 2 dislikes. So that says to me that there really isn't any rebuttal, no logical rebuttal of what I was saying. And it also says that a lot of people just saw the title, their butts got hurt, and they came in and hit downvote, which is also fine. I mean, but that's what a lot of people do. They saw the title, and I mean, I stand by. It's not like a clickbait title. I am talking about it being lazy. But I guarantee you, most of those 40 downvotes or whatever it's got now are people that didn't watch the video, or were too afraid to watch the video because it hurt to make them Nintendo, make their skin Nintendo. So it's fine though. But it is nice to be in a good mood, just like Visor Grunt says, because we got a new game. Serenade Juice. Maybe you should have said Nintendo took the easier route with the collection instead of saying lazy, for the snowflakes. Exactly. Had I said that, I probably would have, less than half of those downvotes. Because, like I said, a lot of people are just reacting to the title, which is fine. I stand by the title. I stand by the fact that the collection is lazy. And for me, like, I'm not saying, oh God, this is terrible, don't buy it. I didn't say that once in the video. I was saying, for me, in my perspective especially, it's lazy on its own. But for me, I have no incentive to buy it. For a collector's item even. Because they didn't do anything. They just gave you a bare cartridge or a bare case with a cart in it. And they did nothing special for a special occasion. So, it is what it is. What can I say? Scalpers are all over it on eBay. And that's the thing about that too, is like, I don't even understand why people are trying to scalp it at this point. My thing would be, I'm going to buy it, maybe I buy, 10 copies or something stupid. And then wait until after it's out of print. Because it's going to be readily available for people who want to buy it. I don't foresee it being, oh my God, there's a shortage, unless Nintendo, purposely makes it a shortage on the game. I don't see there not being enough carts in this 6-month window. I'm sure there will be. So, I don't understand why the scalping's going on now. And the game's not even out yet. I can understand that for... What's the game I just bought? I just bought Miami... What's it called? Shakedown Hawaii. I can always get mixed up because there's like Miami... There's all these kind of different games. But basically the last, at this point, Wii U game. Printed game anyway. And that game, they have 3,000 copies for it. Or they're printing 3,000 copies of it. At least for Wii U. And it's not coming back. There won't be any more. So I can understand people pre-ordering a bunch of those, paying them off. And then already scalping them before it launches. That makes sense, but this game will be readily available, I believe, for at least 5 months. So, I don't get it. I don't get the scalping mentality on this, doing it so early. Crazy Old School says, agreed. The All-Stars collection for the Wii is still affordable on eBay. Yes, that's only $50 right now. So, that had the limited run, and it's still pretty readily available. So I don't. If you're stupid enough to pay a scalp price for that game right now, you're just stupid. Like, what are they offering? Like $100 or something stupid, or twice the cost, 120, whatever it is, 80, or I don't know, whatever it is. You're stupid for purchasing that from eBay. Because are there shortages as far as pre-orders right now? I don't think there are. This game will be readily available. It's just kind of silly. Now, if you want to get a couple copies and then put them up after the game has its run, then that kind of makes sense. But trying to scalp right now for it, there's going to be enough copies. So, weird. But yeah. That's pretty much... I mean, there's... Like I said, with the Backlash with Mario 3D All-Stars, it's whatever. But did I do an official intro? Probably not. Hey there, fools! Or hey there, fools! So I haven't done the Mizzah Tee voice enough to remember how to do the, the little fluctuations in the accents and whatnot. But, welcome to the Tea Talk. This won't be like a 3-hour thing at all. I just wanted to kind of get on here and talk about the new Switch game we got coming. And, go over some stuff. And then also the Series X reveal. and the price and all that good stuff. So, what's up, AKA Slayer? How's it going? Yeah, what's up, everybody? By the way, Ipakman. I wonder how Zelda's anniversary will be approached. Hopefully, better than Mario's. um, if I were to guess, I know what I would like. Well, we can talk about that before we get into the new Switch game. So, let me just make sure I say hey to everybody. Terminator Juice, crazy cool, crazy old school, aka Slayer. I said, what's up to you? The new Zelda game looks pretty tight, says crazy old school. It does. We will definitely talk about that, but Pokemon came up with a pretty cool question there, and that makes sense to speculate because, with the, I guess you would call it well, not guess, my disappointment with 3D All Stars, what I would think would be a beautiful package for an equivalent for the Zelda 35th. I would really only not care, that's not the right word, but yeah, I guess care to have four specific games, and two of them are very easy. Two of them would require a little work, which at Nintendo you need to do a little work on some of these ports or some of these on these collections, especially for the 35th anniversary. For an anniversary special, it's supposed to be a special thing. So what I would go with is right off the bat, Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, the 3D version, upscaled for HD. Because you're going to want those new textures. You're going to want some of the quality of life stuff that they added to the games. And that's how I would go. I wouldn't go with the Mario 64 route of just bringing over the N64 emulated ports, the ones from the Wii and Wii U. And just kind of somewhat bumping the resolution for that. That's just cheap and lazy. I wouldn't do that, but we all know that Nintendo very well could do that. But that's what I would go for. Because I think what would have made me buy 3D All-Stars is if I got Mario 64 DS and not just Mario, if that could have been the bare minimum. Mario 64 DS in the resolution that you're offering Mario 64 in would have been a huge incentive for me to get this, because the only way to play that game is on the DS, 3DS, or through 3DS using using the backwards compatibility. So that would have been a huge incentive alone. Sure, it would have sucked that I still couldn't play. What is it? Sunshine in 60 frames, but or Mario 64 in 60 frames even. But it would have been great just to get that game, that version of Mario 64. Because for a lot of people, it would still be new, and it'd be the first time. Well, I guess you can do it on Wii U. You can play it on the screen, big TV, but that's not, it's a little box. It's not a resolution of 16 by 9 and HD resolution. Put a little work into it, So Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, the 3D versions, the remastered versions for 3DS in HD, widescreen, and Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD. Both of those games are already done. It wouldn't take much. So for those two, that'd be easy. So put the work into, and it's, to me, it's not still that big of a work. Now, it's not crazy work that you would have to do to get Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask 3D version. So that's what's up with me. That's where I would go for the Zelda, anniversary collection, 35th anniversary collection. Jazz up the box, jazz up the package. It's an anniversary collection. Put some, add something to the package, like Hyrule Astoria, something. That's again that wouldn't take work because that book is already printed. Um, or artwork and music soundtrack. Like soundtracks would be great. Throw a soundtrack in there for each game. They did that for 3D All Stars, but it's all in game. It's not something you can, pop in the CD player or, you know, do what Xenoblade Chronicles X did and have like a little flash drive with all the music on it that you can at least play on your computer, and you can send it to your iPods through that and iPhones and whatnot. So I think that would be great. Crazy Old School. Would love to see a complete collection on one cart for Zelda NES to Wii, but of course updated. I mean, yeah, they could do that because they did it for GameCube. Zelda NES is on GameCube, all the way up to Ocarina of Time. So from Zelda 1, they don't have Twilight or not Twilight Princess, A Link to the Past. But that's okay because that's on the virtual, well, not virtual. I'm calling it virtual console. That is on what is it called? The Nintendo Switch Online. So you can play that game right now. Malik JC says, "I like how Breath of the Wild is now a trilogy." Yeah, even if we don't get like a third, and we probably won't in this series, in this storyline for Breath of the Wild. We already have the prequel, and we have Breath of the Wild, and we're going to get Breath of the Wild 2, whatever they're going to call that. So that's going to be all together, which is pretty dope, Obviously, this is a Warriors game, so it's different, but I think it's going to be more like, what's the Dragon Quest Warriors? What is that Warrior game on Switch that came out really early? I think it's going to be more like that and less like Hyrule Warriors, where you have that warrior structure of run to they're taking over here, run over there, we're taking over here, run over there, that kind of thing. I think it's going to be Dragon Quest Heroes. Thank you, Malik JC. I think it's going to be more like that, where you're going through story based stuff, story based missions, and not just kind of like free for alling and just fighting a bunch of characters and stuff. I think that will be incorporated to some degree, but I think because this is Calamity Ward based, it's not just a love letter to Zelda the way Hyrule Warriors was. It was just basically a love letter. They threw in a little story, and I appreciated that because I thought that was pretty cool and cool new characters. Like Volvagia in a human form. That was pretty cool. I think this will be more structured. It'll still be a Warriors game in some aspects, but I think it'll be more story based. So we'll see. Visor Grunt, yeah, Zelda 1, 2, Link to the Past on Nintendo Switch Online. I would love the Capcom Zelda games remastered, but I know that ain't happening. Probably not. So yeah, maybe that's something, they could do. Because even with this, collection, or not even collection, but the celebration of Mario 35th, we got All-Stars for SNES added to, the online service. So, add Game Boy. That's what people want, at least. Like, I would like N64. Because maybe then I would actually use the console online services that Nintendo offers. But Game Boy Advance, that would be cool. And then they can offer like the Capcom games, at least for you to be able to play on your Switch. So yeah. But yeah, let's talk Age of Calamity, which is amazing. Came out of left field. I think it was Visor Grunt that pointed out none of the sources knew about this game. Not even a whiff. None of these inside sources, You can get by with saying something vague like it's going to be a good year to be a plumber when everybody knows that it's Mario's anniversary. There's likely going to be something. So that's a vague thing that you can easily say, but you can't say, "Oh yeah, uh, Nintendo and Koei, Tecmo Koei are working on a another Hyrule Warriors game," because I would have never thought we get a sequel, or at least because I don't feel like this is an actual sequel. It's just another game in this series, because it's not like a follow up to Hyrule Warriors. It's very different. Um, it's funny because we were talking about this on the podcast, on Juice's podcast. Was it last podcast or the podcast before? That we didn't need. I don't feel like we needed a Hyrule Warriors 2, because we were thinking about it in that kind of bubble of what that game was and how the style of that game was. It was a love letter to Zelda. Like, so I felt like it already did its job. We didn't need that. But to take the Warriors kind of gameplay and make it basically a prequel. It's talking about the prequel story, the Calamity War from 100 years ago, how everything went down and went to crap. That is pretty much ingenious because it serves a lot of purposes. Like, a lot of people love the champions in Breath of the Wild, but we never got, we barely got to see them. We never didn't get to do anything with them. So now they're playable characters. Like, you can play as them, which is amazing because Urbosa is my favorite. And to be able to like run around and wreck shop with Urbosa is amazing. It's similar to when I felt like, what I felt like when, what was it? Soul Calibur 2 came out and Link was one of the playable characters. It's like we never played with Link in that kind of setting. And to be able to use these Guardians, champions, not Guardians, champions in that setting is dope. And also, because I got Guardians on the brain, it's just pretty cool because now you're going to be able to see Guardians be good. I'm sure towards the end of the game they'll be bad again, but they are weapons of the Sheikah. Sheikah created them for the Kingdom of Hyrule to use against Calamity and his minions. So it's going to be pretty cool to see them on the good side before they were corrupted. And I really hope they do dig into and delve into the backstory. Like, it's weird because we all know how it ends. And I don't want it to sugarcoat. I want it to be like, because, you get the backstory, you get stuff about the backstory in Breath of the Wild, but I want it to really elaborate on some of that trauma, on some of what happened and how things happen. So, let's see. Where is my? Oh, it's all the way. I'm dual screening it, so I have to drag my mouse, and it's not cooperating. So I got to use. All right, here we go. Terminator Juice says, "I'd like it to go from cutscenes to battles from the whole game without having to pick to go back to a menu after every mission." I think it will do that. I don't think it's going to be your quote unquote traditional. I don't know if it'll do it all the way through, but I think it'll do that a lot. That's my guess, but we'll see. Crazy Old School. I would love the games that are on the online physical myself. Yeah, I mean, but we have them. We have them on the old consoles. You can't get everything old new again, unfortunately. So I'm not overly needing that, but I think at least the 3D Zelda, starting with Ocarina of Time, in some capacity, should be there. Let's see. We'll probably get Skyward Sword remastered separately, and then like like I said, Twilight Princess and and Wind Waker together. How come I can watch Netflix on my 2011 3DS, but not my Switch? I don't know. I don't know. That's the question of the century, Malik JC. Can you still watch Netflix on 3DS? Because I thought it didn't work anymore, but I haven't tried it. So, I said that. Said Retro Death. Um, Retro Death. Nintendo gives us what we could never think of. Yeah, and that's why we're all fans. Like, we can be disappointed, and rightfully so. And we have, reason for it as well. It's not just pouting, as some people would like to, some of the shills who never see anything wrong would like to act like. But that's why, we're Nintendo fans, because we know every once in a while, as long as they remain the Nintendo we love, even in the smallest, pinch of their being, they're going to surprise us with something. And this is a great surprise. Like, if it was just been Hyrule Warriors 2 with, like I said, another love letter with different scenarios, that wouldn't have been nearly as exciting as getting the backstory to Breath of the Wild. And I wonder if this was ever DLC, because I remember there being rumors about that, about one of the DLC packs being like backstory, and you get to play as champions. I remember that being a rumor, maybe a year after Breath of the Wild came out. I wonder if anyone said it would be easier, or it'd make more sense to just make this a standalone game instead of making it another DLC thing, and change up, what type of game it is. Make it, it's a war-based game, so make it about, combat, which what Hyrule Warriors is about, or which Warriors games are about. They're about combat, constant combat. So I wonder if that was a thing. Heart and Soul. I didn't play much Hyrule Warriors, but I thought they did have cutscenes when you enter area and finish areas. Yeah, they do. But cutscenes based on their new kind of created story. Like, the thing about this is that, at least about Hyrule Warriors, is that Nintendo could just kind of hand it off, the Hyrule or the Zelda treasure trove, the Zelda, treasure locker of goods to Techno. What is it? Koei Tecmo, to just make their own game and just make a love letter type of game. But this time around, they're working with EPD, I'm assuming, and because that's what they said, to really focus on the story and make it, as close as they can to what Breath of the Wild was about as far as story goes. So there won't be any, kind of techno Koei Tecmo created characters. I'm sure it's going to be all Nintendo structuring the story. So that's important. And yeah, just like Retro just says, the cutscenes were great. They added to something that, probably would have just kind of been a bare bones thing. I don't know. I love Hyrule Warriors, so I had no problems with it. I know at least Juice has his issues with it, but I'm a Mosu fan from way back, and you put one of my favorite franchises, if not my favorite franchise, into that setting, I'm there. So let's see. Where are we? Did I read that already? Yeah, okay. Kahuna Silver. This announcement is just what I needed. Hyrule Warriors was my game on Wii U. Can't wait to play it. Yeah, it was just. I think it's just what a lot of Nintendo fans needed. We needed some love, man. We needed some comfort after what I feel again was a disappointing year overall, and wrapping it up with a port of Pikmin 3 and a collection of 3D Mario games I already played, and the collection not being that, or collection being lackluster, would have really soured this year for me. So this potentially picks the year up to much better things, and maybe hopefully we'll get a couple of those uh, third party games that were supposed to come out this year, like that I feel like maybe won't, like No More Heroes 3 and Bravely Default 2. Um maybe that will happen, and the year can end on a much better note. This already makes it a lot better. Some people will say, "Well, did this game save the year?" No, I mean, I don't really think like that. So, but it definitely makes it a lot better, for sure. Um, let's see. AKA Slayer question: what controller is that on your stool behind you? Oh, that is my Saturn 3D controller. Okay. And you can pop off the wiring and just, it slides into the little slot there. So that's cool. For storing, it was really great for that. But yeah, Saturn 3D controller. And my PSP next to it. All right. Kahuna Silver, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. Oh, I read that. Or did I? No. It's exactly the same thing they're doing with Persona. Yeah, I thought about that too. Persona 5 Scramble. I feel like that is very similar to that. But I don't know enough about that game to make a definitive statement on it. But that's what I feel like it's. Because that's what people are saying about Persona 5 Scramble, is that it's not just like a typical run through everything. There's a lot of story based stuff in it. And there's even leveling up, if I remember correctly. So that's what makes it stand out. It's a sequel to Persona 5. So there you go. It continues the story, kind of like that Kingdom Hearts rhythm game. Heart and Soul, I think with Nintendo working much closer with them, yeah, be more structured story. Yeah, that's what I think. Probably limited characters this time around due to this. So yeah, you're not gonna have 5 different Links and you know 8 different Zeldas or any of that kind of stuff. It's gonna be structured to the story of Breath of the Wild, and they'll probably introduce new characters, maybe some kind of general Hyrule soldier character, stuff like that. Maybe some characters they may have hinted at in the game in Breath of the Wild that we didn't get to see. That kind of stuff really intrigues. It's like it's the equivalent in some ways to what's the name? I'm trying to think of the name of the Star Wars Rogue One, right? Like we had a little hint of Rogue One, and so it's not the exact same, but there was a little hint of the story of Rogue One in A New Hope. They talked about like there's these people, how they stole the plans and all that kind of thing, and this is just going to elaborate on it. So that's hopefully, or what I think we'll get with Age of Calamity. We'll get elaborations. I don't know if that's a word or not, but they'll be able to elaborate on things that that were maybe hinted at or talked slightly about from characters like Midna, what's her name? Midna, the old lady, the Sheikah. She's in like every Zelda game, and I'm drawing a blank because I have lights on. But you know what I'm talking about, the old sage character, the old Sheikah sage character that's in every Zelda game. But yeah, Back in 2018, Triforce Johnson somewhat predicted Age of Calamity on a live stream. Crazy. Says Jarian, wow, did he? That's awesome. But he also wanted a game that dealt with the imprisoning war. I remember that was a thing, and he actually talked to Al Newman about that. I remember seeing a video with him talking, and Al Newman thinking that was a great idea. So maybe he maybe influenced this, because they talk about the imprisoning war in A Link to the Past, but we don't have a game on that. So maybe Triforce Johnson got it in Al Newman's head that that's cool. Stuff like delving into the backstory of stuff that's just barely talked about in a game, a standalone game, is a great idea. So maybe we have to thank Triforce Johnson for this. And this was years ago. We're talking before Breath of the Wild came out. He was at an event. Was it E3? I guess it was probably E3, and he talked to Al Newman about it. So maybe we got to thank Triforce for that. Let's see. Mario the M. Does Mizzah Tee like drinking tea while wearing t-shirts? It's a lot of tea. I think Mizzah Tee likes drinking tea regardless. So I would say yeah. Crazy Old School. Yeah, it was dry for a minute with the Nintendo. Very much so. Now I have something to look forward to from Nintendo. This isn't a first party game, but it kind of is because, like I said, they're very much involved with the development, and it's based around a first party IP. I felt like Mario plus Rabbids is it's obviously made by Ubisoft, but I look at that as a first party game in many ways. So. Sardonic, what's up? I'm happy people get a new Switch game to play, and at least it's no all ports. Yeah, I know you're not a fan, I think, of Hyrule Warriors, but you at least were happy for people that were happy about getting this game, so that's cool. And maybe, just maybe, you get surprised for something you actually want. So hang in there. There's hope now. Let's see. Where was I? Oh, Mario the M Hat Hero. Also, do you think Super Mario 64 on Super Mario 3D All Stars will get an update patch for 16:9 in the possible future? I mean, I hope it does. I don't know if it will. But if in that case, why didn't you just make it standard to the game itself? And the only reason I harp about that game getting a 16:9 is because on the Switch, handheld or on the TV, you get super black bars. And let's modernize the game to where you don't have those old school black bars. Now, for some games you can't do that with. It's just gonna be the case. But I think with Mario 64 you could have done it. So, all right. Crazy Old School. I had one of those long time ago. Came with Knights. Yeah. I got mine with Knights, but I actually somebody else also gave me some and added it to my collection. So I have a few. I have like 4 of them, I think. 3 or 4 of them. Great controllers. I wish Dreamcast would have incorporated more of the form factor of that controller. Not a Warriors fan myself, says Sardonic. Oh, did I reach that? Or did I read that? I feel like I did. No, maybe not. Though, so it's a PS4 catch-up holiday for me. Yeah, that's cool. You can do that. I'm going to be doing that as well. Actually, I'm going to be doing some Switch games, I guess, that I already own. Because I pretty much have everything I want at this point. So I'll just be playing more stuff. I hope it's fully voice acted, unlike the first Hyrule Warriors. Yeah. as much as I played that game, I don't remember how much voice acting or how little it has. Um, all right. That was Jarian, by the way. Malik JC, think the new Bond film will get a game with it? Bond games used to be quality shooters. I don't know. Probably not, I would say. Because the game probably would have already came out, or because the movie's supposed to come out earlier this year. Unless they would have pushed it. And some of the games that are not based on the movies are better. I think we talked about this, if I'm not mistaken. Like Bloodstone. Bloodstone is pretty good. Underrated. Nightfire. Very good. There's at least one more I can't think of that didn't have... that wasn't based on a movie that I thought was good. Now everybody's letting me know Impa. I don't know why I couldn't remember Impa's name. But yeah, Impa. What was I talking about with that? I don't remember what I was talking about when I was talking about Impa. Just got back, so I don't know if you said this. I'd love to... Terminator Juice, by the way. I'd love to start the game, and once the first cutscene begins, we would be able to play the whole game without having to go to a mission select screen or whatever. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I did... I don't know if you're still back or you're gone, Juice, but I was saying I think it will be that way. I think you're going to get cutscenes, obviously, but it won't be like a mission select type of thing. I don't think it's going to be set up that way. I think it's going to be more story-driven. You won't have the control to jump to whatever character. I think it would be story-based, which would make more sense in this kind of Warriors game. This isn't your typical Warriors game. It's based on canon for a game. It's based on Hyrule Warriors. It's based on Breath of the Wild, the backstory. So I don't think it's just going to be some randomness. The random kind of randomness type of battle stuff that you get in a typical Warriors game. I think it'll be more structured, kind of like I think Persona 5 Scramble is. So, I'd be up for a new Bond game, says Sardonic. Yeah, for sure. It could be based off of this movie. I just want it to be good. Surprise me. Let's see. Retro Death is talking to Terminator Juice. Jump. What game you guys talking about? We're talking about Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. Notice they didn't call it Hyrule Warriors 2 because it's not a sequel. It's its own thing. If it was very different, they probably would have dropped the Hyrule Warriors thing. But maybe not, because it's still, that's still what it's about. It's about the Warriors of Hyrule, So, but they didn't call it Hyrule Warriors 2 Age of Calamity because it's not the same thing as Hyrule Warriors was. So, just joined. Yeah, I know Jump Duke, well, unless you haven't been talking, but Kahuna Silver. All we need now is something Metroid in October. Boy, that would be great. Surprises with a port. That's a port I can get behind. A port of Samus Returns or something. Or Metroid Prime Trilogy HD. But I don't think that's happening. That'd be sweet, says Sardonic. Retro Death and Juice are talking back and forth. Sardonic, spoilers, Juice. Joking. AKA Slayer. Did you see Japan is getting a collector's edition for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity? Really? I'm annoyed at that, but, that happens. I think somebody else, I forgot who I was talking to, and they were like, I hope we get a collector's edition. I didn't see one or anything announced, so I'm sure we'll get one as well. It'll probably be different from Japan's, and that'll probably make me have to end up buying the Japanese version. I don't know. Boom Tendo, Hyrule Warriors sounds good. What's up, everybody? Heart and Soul kept it Warriors due to the same gameplay genre. Yeah, I mean that's it is still a warrior style game, um, but I was saying that because you're not sure about um, perception. I'm looking back and forth here. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my. That's weird. Anyway, um, you might turn people off because some people might think, "Oh, it's just another Hyrule Warriors game," by using that name. But I think it's going to be very different. Still going to be, the gameplay style, at least the combat style. But I think gameplay in many aspects will be different, and the way the story progresses will be different. So uh, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, like I said, that's why they went with the name. It's the same company, so it makes sense for them to go with that. Let's see. We need another Metroid pinball or something different like that. Yeah, that would be cool. I would even be happy to see that. Um, said, who was that? Boom Tendo? Heart and Soul. Play Asia. Yeah, I know. I know where you get that. Boom Tendo. Something Metroid to fill the time between waiting for Metroid Prime 4. Yeah, that'd be great. But we've had not a whole lot of Metroid in the last 10 years even, so I don't think they care about filling the time for Metroid fans. Um, Late JC, I got a feeling Adam Malkovich will be Samus's AI partner, similar to Cortana in Metroid Prime 4, assuming they finally advance the story. Yeah, I mean, if they want uh, Metroid to break out into more commercial success, they're gonna have to get somewhat of a Breath of the Wild treatment. They're gonna have to break some of the conventions of Zelda, or expand on, or elaborate and make them more accessible to more people. Um, so we'll see if they do that on Prime 4 or not. I think Nintendo was going to do something because they know there is a fervor around the Metroid IP, but the games just don't sell well. So they know they'll get interest by dropping Metroid games, but not enough sales. So I think they'll evaluate. I think they have been trying to figure out what to do with Metroid and stuff. So we'll see where that goes. Um, let's see. Jarion, do you think No More Heroes can still release this year? What would be a good date for it? I think it could still release this year, and if it did, my guess would be December. Um, that would be where I'd put it because I don't Hyrule Warriors is in November, right? November 20th or something, I think it said. Um, so even though it is a big title, um, with the incorporating a huge Nintendo IP, it's not like every Zelda fan is probably going to get that game. There's going to be people who love Zelda that wouldn't play a Warriors kind of game. So there still be an opening, I think, either earlier before the game comes out, or I would put it at least 2 weeks before Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, or 2 weeks after. So in December, first week, second week of December, that's what I would do. So I still think there's a window for somebody, a third party company, to do their thing, and I think No More Heroes could fit there. I'm not sure, it's kind of like movies. I'm not sure if you want to push your stuff into 2021 because everything is going to be waiting. There's going to be no windows in 2021 for movies that got pushed out of this year, and games as well. It's going to be tight. That's just my guess. So I don't know. I don't know. If you want to, if you had a game that can come out this year, I would still put it out this year. And you have windows. What's in October? Pikmin 3. Again, Pikmin 3 is nothing to be afraid of. If you're No More Heroes, you're mostly very different audiences. Like, I'm not getting it, but Pikmin 3, if I hadn't played it before, I would get. But I don't think that's gonna affect No More Heroes fans. I would guess I would assume there's very little crossover between No More Heroes fans and Pikmin 3 Deluxe fans, because that group of people, as far as Pikmin 3 Deluxe people who's going to pick that game up, is further diminished by the fact that it is a port of a Wii U game that a lot of hardcore Nintendo fans aren't going to buy again. So I don't think that would affect the sales. We'll see. We'll see. Where am I? Retro Death. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is Hyrule Warriors 2. Like how Hey Pikmin isn't actually called Pikmin 4. The pain. Jarian says, forget Adam. Anthony Higgs is where it's at. I don't know where you're coming from with that. So, Donick, Hey Pikmin 2 better be a no more Pikmin game. Probably won't be. Kahuna, that's something I hate. There's a lot of interest in Metroid IP, but the interest doesn't match in sales. And yeah, that I find that frustrating as well, as a person that wants that to be the Triforce of Nintendo. I want Mario, Zelda, Metroid. I want that to be the Triforce. And in mind share it is, but not in market share. In mind share, that's the Triforce. That's what people always say. Oh, Nintendo, all they have is Mario, Metroid. Or, yeah, Mario, Zelda, Metroid. That's all they do. Mario, Zelda, Metroid. Which is a lie, but that's the mind share. But that's not the actual output if you look at the games, and that's not what happens in the market. That's not Metroid cannot stand up to Mario or Zelda in any way as far as the sales go. So Sardonic, not enough casuals know what a Metroid is. Yeah, why can't Metroid crawl? Malik JC, an online mode would greatly help Metroid get some popularity. Space Pirates versus Federation Force just makes it a whole separate thing from the main game. Yeah, I think if it doesn't have a online multiplayer aspect, you're completely failing the potential of Metroid, because that was one of the cool things about Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, is that the multiplayer had multiplayer. And I like that when it came to Metroid Prime Hunters, the multiplayer, they played it up and the marketing. So hopefully they don't drop the ball on that. And look at even Metroid Prime Federation Force. It was a very heavily, online, co-op game. So let's see. Sardonic, a lot of new Nintendo fans I know bought a Switch for Animal Crossing, and now they're bored of it and act like there aren't any games to play. So yeah, there's that aspect of it too, where because I was actually saying that I don't know if it was I'm doing so many podcasts and videos. I'm not sure where I say things, But I said a lot of Animal Crossing fans, aren't necessarily core Nintendo fans. There is crossover, but a lot of them, especially when it comes to New Leaf, look at me. When it comes to New Horizons, they're not traditional Nintendo fans. They jumped on the Switch bandwagon, if you will, and then they bought the Switch bandwagon game, if you will, which is Animal Crossing. So once they had their fill of that, maybe they'll play a little Pokemon, because there's a pretty good amount of crossover between Pokemon and Animal Crossing fans. They're bored. They don't want to play. They don't care about Mario Odyssey or even Kart. Maybe they care about Kart, but they don't care about Zelda or any of that stuff. So they're bored. Let's see. A lot of new. Already a pick. Pokemon. I would like it if Ridley spoke in game like he does in the manga. Yeah, Ridley needs. I mean, that's what I feel about Metroid in general. It needs more personalization. Like, for the longest time, probably even to this point, Ridley and Craig, they're just monsters. They don't have, even the space pirates. They don't have personality. They don't have individuality. That's what I think Metroid needs. They need to bump the story up. I'm talking about. Metroid is fine with me, but I'm talking about for commercial sales. They need to bump the storyline up. They need to have interpersonal relationships, like where you have characters that interact in many ways. With Samus and the Prime games, you run into a room. There's no conversating. There's just like, I'm gonna run in here. You're a space pirate. I'm with the Federation Force. We shoot. So there's no like story through characters and conversation and personalization. So it needs that, I think, to get the outside gamer. It has to be visually nice as well for the casual fan who may like shooters, but probably won't like a game like a Metroid. But if you get them with some pretty visuals and some interpersonal relationships in that game, then I think you can convince them to buy it. Let's see. Oh, there's a jump. Major malfunction. Metroid is expensive to produce in HD. Pikmin probably cheaper. I don't know. I mean, that's an assumption. You might be right, but I don't know. Cornelius Broadnex, what's up? Hope I said your last name right. Broadnex. Retro Death to Sardonic. Retro Death. I might or might not be at 850 hours in Animal Crossing. Oh, I know you are. I know you are. Anyone happy to have modded Wii U? I have Mario Sunshine and Mario 64 already. I'm considering Mario Galaxy, though. It has motion and regular controls. What are you saying, right, Chance? Anyone happy to have a modded? Are you hawking your modded Wii U in my chat? Is that what you're doing? Yeah. Sardonic says, "Wow, retro, wow." Yeah. Sinister tones. Sardonic T and said Craig instead of Craig first and made me laugh. Yeah, you caught that. I was trying to hide it, but yeah, I totally said Craig because we're talking Metroid and there's Halo and Craig. That's one of the funniest memes this year. Oh man, good stuff. I totally said Craig instead of Craig. You caught it. You had all that with Anthony and Other M, but yeah, Other M didn't do it well. Like that was one of my big problems with it. Like bless who was it? Was it Tecmo that made that game? Um, Bless them for trying to do the more casual stuff, the stuff that would get more fans to. But it wasn't. It didn't work. The story to me was at times insulting, so it didn't work that way. And it was structured different than a Metroid Prime. So if it had that with the Metroid Prime structure, I would probably like it a lot more as far as the gameplay. But like in Halo, where you're going along, Halo's more of a shooter, you know, and Metroid's more puzzles and stuff. Um, you would have to. I think you have to expand the shooter aspect. So you have her, Samus, going through certain situations, and you can do backtracking still with this idea. You can have her go through certain situations, certain missions, and whatnot. She can still do her thing where she finds missile expansions and all that stuff. But in certain segments of the game, it's more shooter based, and so you go through, and Federation Force soldiers show up, and you have a little squad for a little while. They get killed off, and you bend off into another kind of mission area, and if they set it up like that, I think they will get more love, because that Metroidvania style of gameplay works better, or is more accepted in like a 2D game than it is in 3D games. Like, we all know how phenomenal Metroid Prime 1 and 2 are. But at the end of the day, they didn't sell. Like, even Nintendo, I remember Nintendo, I think it was Iwata, who was talking about, I think maybe it was some kind of sales meeting or something, where he talked about how Metroid, what else was it? I can't remember what other game, but Metroid was one of them that didn't meet their expectations sales wise. So even back then, let's see. Where are we? Prime 3 did it best when it comes to that. Yeah, Prime 3 was really good at that. Prime 3 was a step, I think, in that direction, Retro Death, of opening it up to probably a more casual fanfare. Sardonic, I gotta play 3 again. Been too long. Same here. I need to go back and play 3 again. I'm probably gonna just play them all. CAG reacts. Mario 3D All Stars is going to be good. Boo this man. Yeah, it's going to be good because it's three 3D Mario games. Like, there's nothing wrong with the games. It's the fact that they did nothing with them, almost. So they're going to be good. I don't think I said, oh, these games are going to be bad. This is a bad collection. I don't think I said that. I'm pretty sure I didn't say that. Although you would think I said that, but I didn't. What I'm saying is it's not up to the standards it should be as far as what they did to the games themselves. There's really no argument about this because we've had so many examples in gaming already where games were completely remade. Games this age, they went back and they completely remade these games and then they put it out for cheaper. I'm not even arguing the price. I could, but I'm not even arguing the price because, obviously, if you buy these games even separately on the systems that they're out for, one game is with like Mario Sunshine alone is $60 if you try to find it even used on GameCube at this point. So I didn't even make the argument about price. I didn't make an argument about the games not being good. I don't even know what that's about. Miss CAG reacts because I didn't say the games wouldn't be good. What I said is it's lazy. The ports. It's a lazy collection. And here's the thing: like, people get a bit out of shape about me saying that, but would more games to the collection be bad for you? Would you not like that? Like, what's the downside of what I'm saying? Mario Galaxy 2 in the collection only makes sense. It should be there. Um, that's only better for people who are already buying the thing in its current state. Do you not want 3D Land in there? Do you not want Galaxy in there? Would you not like if it was Mario 64 DS and not just Mario 64? Would you not like it in widescreen mode? What is the argument against what I'm saying about this? Again, if you don't have any other way to play these games currently, this is a good package. It's a good price. But for the fans like me who have these games already, I don't have an incentive to buy this collection because they didn't do anything special. There's nothing special about it. And it should be. It's an anniversary collection. I'm so done with this because I already did a podcast basically on it. Not a podcast, but like a 20-minute discussion, and we talked about it in a podcast, and I'm just kind of done. You don't need my acceptance to buy the game. I don't have to accept it for you to like it. So do your thing. Hey T says 1GWX. I was thinking from the last stream, I might pick up Super Mario All Stars because of online and Bowser's Fury. Wait, what? Even though I own all 3 original. Bowser's Fury is not in All Stars. What are you talking about? 1GWX. That's in the 3D World port. Bowser's Fury is part of Super Mario 3D World port that comes out next year. Retro. Oh, that's Kahuna to Retro. Wait. Where are we? Why did it jump so far? Jonathan Reed. Miss Click loves Metroid Other M. Okay. I mean, I don't really follow Miss Click or anything. I don't really know much about her other than the fact that she's in Spawncast. But a lot of people love Other M. I don't. So, I mean, we can all have our own opinions. It's fine. I don't need everybody to not like Other M, and other people who like it shouldn't need me to like it. It's, we all have our own opinions of things. So, let's see. I don't understand why people wouldn't buy Samus Returns just because they didn't like Metroid Prime Federation Force. I don't think that's why people didn't buy it, Sardonic. I think we were in the thick of Switch hype. That game came out, was it middle of 2017 on the 3DS? Like, it wasn't going to do well even by Metroid standards, and it didn't. So that's one of the games that the merged 3DS teams should have been like, no, let's not put this on 3DS. Let's move this over like they did A Link to the Past, or like they did A Link's Awakening. Maybe you could say Fire Emblem even, although Fire Emblem has traditionally been console games, but there's speculation that was part of the deal. They should have just said, no, we don't think we should put this out on 3DS. Let's up-res this and bring it over to Switch. It would have done a whole lot better, I guarantee. I don't think Federation Force had anything to do with it. The sales not being good. Samus Returns and 3D Land have the best 3D usage, by the way. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. They have excellent 3D. I played 3D Land probably a whole lot more because it came out before and I played through it a bunch. And the 3D is excellent in that game. Same thing for Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Gorgeous. The game looks great on 3DS, and the 3D is wonderful, and it uses it very well for that game. You could tell that Nintendo, they originally made the original Luigi's Mansion for GameCube. They originally made that with 3D in mind. For those of you who may not know, that game, like I said, was built with 3D in mind. They were going to add like a 3D overlay to go on your television set, but it wasn't very practical, so they kind of canned that. But if you look at the perspective and stuff, you could see why that game would look good in 3D, and it looks excellent on 3DS in 3D. All right, so that can't be right. It has to be there. All right. Wait a minute. Like I can check here. Yeah. Okay. Just talking to myself, looking at my settings here, making sure everything's good. All right. Wait, I don't understand. I read that already. Yes, Metroid Prime 1 was phenomenal. It certainly was. Blew my mind at the time. It still runs and looks great. F-Zero as a character action game would be cool. Yeah, everybody wants Falcon Punch. Like, that would be great as a, pseudo 2D, 3D beat 'em up. I would love that. Like, because all those characters, there's some pretty interesting characters in the F-Zero world that, you don't get to see much of. Outside of, like, the crazy story mode and stuff in F-Zero GX. Nintendo has all these pretty interesting characters locked to this one franchise, and you don't get to see them be in character and do their thing. So, a game like Falcon Punch, which is a perfect name for a beat 'em up starring Captain Falcon, that would be great. iPacman? Who said that? iPacman? Retro Death. No, I was referring to Samus' interaction with others in character building. And are you saying no to me? I'm agreeing. I agreed with that. Adding the other hunters made the universe and stories expand in a great way. Yeah, I don't know why you're saying no. I agreed with you on that, Retro Death. I was agreeing. 1GWX. Metroid Prime were amazing. Other M is I never finished. Didn't like it, but it probably should get. I probably should get it back. I traded it. LOL. I think it's still pretty cheap to purchase if you want to, maybe buy another used copy and give it another go. I'm thinking about streaming it. We'll see. Let's see. I'm playing Super Mario, aka Slayer. I'm playing Super Mario Galaxy 2 on Wii U. And the game is still so damn beautiful. This should have been in the collection from 3D also. Yeah, I mean, that people who are upset about me calling this collection lazy, do you not want Galaxy 2 in the collection? Are you against it? Because if you're not, then you agree that it's lazy. It should be there. There's no reason Galaxy 2 is not in this collection. Other than they didn't want to do it. They didn't feel like doing it. Because Galaxy 1 was already in HD. So, they were just talking about, interface changes and whatnot and a controller setup. But and Galaxy 1 was already 60 frames per second on the Wii and Galaxy 2 as well. So all they had to do was HDify it. And that wouldn't have took much. Could have got a couple of programmers in a weekend to do that. Seriously. You could have got a couple of programmers to do that over the weekend. Add that game in. And it would have been just go. Because it's already perfect. AKA Slayer. I'm playing Super Mario. Oh, I read that already. I just read that. Ruby. Even if you buy the originals now, you will have to pay over $100. But I do wish they would have Galaxy 2 for it. because I never played either Galaxy games. Yeah, that's why I never made the cost complaint, because I know, as a person who pays attention to prices and stuff for retro games, especially, I know that one of these games is already more expensive than the collection itself. So I'm not going to make the complaint about the price. My complaint is the effort. There should have been more. There should have been more done to what we had. It is lazy. there's no denying it. So, what ifs? And nobody would be upset about more games or better optimized games. I don't think they would be. Sardonic, Samus Returns on Switch wouldn't have 3D. They'd find a way to make use of their Joy-Con drift feature, though. Yeah, it wouldn't have 3D, so it would take something away. For me, it looks better in 3D, so I get you there. But, Eric Sledge, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity is the game I wish Breath of the Wild was. Get out of town. Excuse me. Are you talking just story-wise, or are you actually talking about the game? Because you're taking away a lot of freedom from Breath of the Wild, and just taking a lot of gameplay and a lot of stuff. If you want Breath of the Wild to be a warrior-style game. So, I didn't care for Galaxy 2. I'm more excited for Sunshine. Yeah, story-wise. Okay. That's what I thought you were saying. But if it was that, we wouldn't be getting Age of Calamity. I like the idea because were they supposed to focus on stuff that happened 100 years before the game begins? I don't think so. I think the way they told the story of the game worked well for me. I know a lot of people's negatives of the game was the story. But I liked the nature. Like, for me, it was like, it put me more in the mode of what I was supposed to be in the mode of, which is, I'm Link, and I'm waking up, and I have, barely any memories of what happened, because I've been in a slumber. So you're not only discovering the world, you're discovering the story and what happened. So instead of being force-fed a story, like, I think for certain types of games that works well. But I think like a game like Breath of the Wild, where Hyrule is a character in the game. Like, it's a character that gives you exposition if you walk around it. So for me, it works very well. And I didn't need more story in Hyrule Warriors, in Breath of the Wild. I got enough. I got a lot of story. People will say that. People said that about Metroid Prime. Like, there's not a lot of story in Metroid Prime. But I'm like, well, you didn't scan anything. Well, you didn't do what you're supposed to do. And the thing about Breath of the Wild, you can beat it with, 2 champions? Some people can beat it without that. Or 2 champions. Same thing. The 2 divine beasts. Maybe even before that. So it's open. It's open air. Like, you experience the game. You get what you want out of the game. Especially with like the DLC. It just expanded the world for me, and I felt like there was plenty of story there. Especially when you start dealing with NPCs and you got side missions and stuff, side quests with them. There was a lot there. A lot. I just think the nature of the game, as big as it is, like, you can make that complaint about Skyrim. Like, you don't have to delve into everything in Skyrim that a lot of people delve into. You can get through Skyrim without playing it for 200 hours. But some people decide to play it for 200 hours. I didn't need to play Breath of the Wild for 260 hours to beat it. But I really dug into it. So I think it depends on how you play it, what you're going to get out of it. And I like the fact that it was free. I enjoy rescuing people from moblins. Says there, yeah, that was cool. And they would give you a little present sometimes, a little prize. And cooking was great. Yeah, I love cooking as well. Some people didn't even cook. Like we have Robert gaming with me in our podcast and Just His Loose podcast. He never cooked a damn thing, and he barely rode a horse. I don't think he ever rode a horse in the entire game. So you can miss a lot of stuff and still beat that game, and stuff that adds to the girth of the story. So I blabbered on long enough about that. Mario 64 is $20 to $32. I've never seen Mario 64 for $20. It must be in real bad condition, but it's usually in the $30 range. Mario Sunshine at least 40 to 80, right? And Mario Galaxy can still be bought at Walmart for $20. Honestly, yeah, I mean that's probably the cheapest one in the bunch, Mario Galaxy, to get. So, if you're talking on a game by game basis, the value is there, but part of the reason that Mario Sunshine costs so much is because Nintendo doesn't have a store to release that game digitally or anything. That's the only version that's ever been is the GameCube version. So they create a lot of their own pricing situations as far as retro games go. Yeah. Eric Sledge, good point. What are you talking? Oh, I guess you're talking about when I was making about Breath of the Wild and the story and stuff. Yeah, I mean you don't have to agree with that, but that's how I felt about it. So that's how I took it, and I like when movies do that. Like, not every movie, but I like Book of Eli is a really good example. If you've ever seen Book of Eli with Denzel Washington, like you go through like half of that movie with minimal story. You don't know what happened to the world and why you're in this post-apocalyptic situation. You're just kind of going through the motions with this character. And I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it already, because there's a pretty big plot reveal. About halfway through, you learn something about Denzel Washington's character that blows your damn mind. And I love that. I love the fact that it didn't force feed it to me. I knew from the beginning, and that to me would have taken away from that journey I went on with that character. That he didn't say much, so he didn't reveal much of the world. He wasn't talking to himself and expositing. He was running into people that were talking about, oh man, how this world is now and how it used to be great and what happened to make it happen. These people are just living their lives, so you're just going through that way. There's an end goal, just like Breath of the Wild. You look off and you see that castle. You got to go there at some point. Your point is to go there. If you talk to the old man, pretty early on, that's where Zelda is. And you got to save her. But you're going to have to power up a little bit, before you go there. So the story is revealing itself through your journey. And that's what I loved about, like I said, movies like Book of Eli. So, let's see. Heart and Soul, I put over 700 hours in Breath of the Wild. Master Mode. Yeah, I haven't really even played Master Mode that much. So I could put easily another couple hundred in it. Heart and Soul. I still log in once in a while to go Lionel hunting. Nice. Eric Sledge. I hope Breath of the Wild 2 has dungeons. Me too. That's one thing I want from old Zelda is puzzle-based dungeons. I really want that back, and I think it will be. Let's see. Kahuna T. I'm talking about, at least with the Mario games, yes, most you'll see Mario 64 is at 50, and sometimes DS at the same price. Sunshine is at most. I seen it at 170 on Mercari. Yeah, that's you don't even go near something like that. Sunshine being $170, that's a joke. Before the pandemic, Mario Sunshine was probably a $40 game, 35 to 40. and then everybody's home and they're buying up nostalgia, and then that price shot up just recently. So it wasn't, that big of a deal beforehand. It still was pretty decently valuable. Like I said, 35 to $40. But it's freaking tripled in some cases, which is insane. At least with Mario 64 games. Bedtime. See ya, says Heart and Soul. Yeah, I'm about to get out of here too. Just gonna quickly touch on what is it? The Series X reveal or Series S reveal, which everybody pretty much knew was coming, and people are talking about value, this and this and that. I think it's great value. I mean, it's not for me at all. Like, I don't care one bit about the Series S. Basically, the main reason is that it doesn't have a disk drive. I need my physical copies, and then I will hold on to them, kicking and clawing until the last physical copy released. That's how I'm going to roll. But if you look at it again, I'm looking at it from a parental standpoint, where I have kids, where I'm like, I can buy them a $300, modern tech $300 console, like the Series S, and pay $15, $315, plus tax, and they have 100 games to play, 100 plus games to play. Now they don't have to play everything, obviously. My kids certainly stick to a few games, but there are a lot of kids, preteen, teen, that will play a lot of those games, and that would be an incentive. It's just like, all right, if you act up, I'm not paying for your Game Pass, and so you'll just have a brick console. You just have a console with nothing. I've said it 1,000 times that a lot of my students are playing, on their Xboxes. A lot of them play Fortnite on Xbox. A lot of them play Minecraft and all kinds of stuff. I have some students that they feel like a minority though, that play PS4. I think Sony somehow let slip that age group of elementary to high school. There's high school students that play PS4, but again, a bunch of the students that I had were on Xbox. So I think, and those kids would come to class, they'd have their cell phone, and they'd have their Xbox controller or PS4 controller linked to it, Bluetooth to it, and they'll play that way. They'll play game. They don't care, They don't have this, brand allegiance, console allegiance, and a box like the Series S will immediately appeal to them. So, there's no negative with the Series S, and unless you're, like I said, a console or a physical copy guy and you like your physical copies. But a lot of kids today, they don't care about any of that stuff. So, Ruby, I was so lucky with Sunshine. I got it at Goodwill for $3 like 5 years ago. Yeah. I started watching this channel. I think his name is Ricky Retro, or something like that. And he goes to Goodwill a lot. Man, he finds stuff. People should definitely do that. Because a lot of times Goodwill, they get stuff donated to them. They don't know what it's worth. They'll put it on the shelf for their gaming price, which is $3-4 sometimes. So, especially old games. Good morning from London, UK. Falcon Black, what's up? Master Yoshi, I wish Mario Galaxy 2 was in the new All-Stars. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that, and it's because it should be. The original All-Stars game had 4 games. The original Mario All Star game had 4 games. It had Mario 1, Mario 2 Japan, Mario 2 North America, and Mario 3. It had 4 games. Lost levels. For those who may not know, that's what lost levels are. It's Mario 2 Japan. So All Stars 3D All Stars should also have 4 games. Galaxy 2 should be there. It makes no sense that it's not. Let's see. Master Yoshi, I can't wait for the new Hyrule Warriors game that's actually going to be canon this time and important to the Breath of the Wild storyline. Yes, I mean, that's the biggest thing about it. It's awesome that it will be canon, and I'm all in for that. Kahuna, would you say Sony will price the PS5 at? I say they'll be petty and take the loss and go 400. I don't know. I honestly feel like all signs, at least coming from their posture, their whatnot, will put it at 500. Because if you look at, again, the components and all that stuff, it's more than $400. So again, it's taking a loss. I think their mentality has changed, especially starting with the PS4. They did not take a loss on the PS4. They wanted to get away from that, taking $100, $200 losses on their consoles. And it worked out really well for them on PS4. So because I think at $400 they'd be taking a loss. I'm not sure they want to do that. And I think they have a different mentality. They let people go, that were instrumental with PS4 and unceremoniously. So, I just think their mentality is we're not going to take a loss. So, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if maybe they're confident enough that they can re-up, It's kind of like with Wii U. Wii U was sold at a loss unless you bought a game. So maybe there's a situation where if you buy a game, and I'm sure most people will with their PS5, maybe it won't be a loss at 400. I don't know. I don't see how. Maybe at 450 you can get away with that, but I don't know. Falcon, the Mario All Stars gives me hope for a Zelda All Stars game next year. Yeah, I actually talked about that earlier in the stream. I think, well, at least what I would want is, which I think would be fitting, is Ocarina and Majora's Mask, the 3D versions of them. As far as the texturing, the new texture stuff they did, and then Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD. That should be the package. Will it be? Probably not. They'll probably want to sell those games separately. I don't think they should sell games they already remastered as separate standalone games. It'd be one thing if they're selling a port or a remastered port, but the game has already been remastered. Twilight Princess and Wind Waker are already remastered games. So to try to sell them separately for $60 or whatever, I think that would be egregious. Obviously, I think they should be in a collection with Breath of the Wild, with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, because those games fit well together. Now, Zelda Skyward Sword, you could sell that separately because it hasn't been remastered yet. You can sell that separately and charge $60 for it, which I'm sure they will, for a remaster of that. That wouldn't be, that would be in line with what Nintendo's been doing. That wouldn't be overly egregious, but, who knows what they'll do. With all the new Hyrule Warriors, we're already starting the 35th anniversary of Zelda. Yeah, true. I think, Nintendo wanted to be mostly done. So by the time Hyrule Warriors comes out, if the schedule had maintained this year, I think Nintendo would have been mostly done with the celebration of Mario for the most part. It's still going to be his year, but I think Hyrule Warriors wouldn't have kind of stood out a little bit this year because they had to push 3D All Stars and all this stuff back, and even 3D Super Mario 3D World pushed back to next year. So that's what I think. We'll see what happens. Falcon Black, thank you for the £2 or £1.99 donation. I love your work, bro. He says, thank you very much, my man. Appreciate that. Always good to see you in the chat, as well as you other guys, Master Yoshi. Love it when you show. I haven't seen Eric in a while. Glad to see him. Heart and Soul as well. Kahuna is pretty regular. But yeah, definitely appreciate all you guys for rocking out with me. I'm about to get out of here. It is late, and I didn't plan on being on too long. Just wanted to go over these games and the new news. So I'm gonna shoot on out. So good night, farewell to all of you, Master Yoshi, Falcon Black, Kahuna, Silver, Heart and Soul, I think who's already left, Eric Sledge, good to see you, like I said, Sardonic, iPacman, Ruby, haven't seen you in a while, good to see you, Ruby. Cag Reacts, even though we don't agree, that's fine. We could disagree. Good to see you as well. 1GWX, aka Slaya, Sardonic, Retro Death, Cornelius. I haven't seen in a while, but good to see you as well. Right Chance. I think that's pretty much everybody. Malik JC, Boom Tendo. Don't forget you guys. Jump Duke Jump. Terminator Juice, who I'm sure is out. Mario, the M Hat Hero. Crazy Old School. Jarion. Hope I'm not forgetting anybody here. Hope I don't miss anybody. Visor Grunt. I think that might be it. Dr. Blue, who was the first in the chat. Yeah, so look forward to my review of... Is it near me? Yep. My review of this little device here tomorrow. Should be up early. I don't know how early, but should be up. So look forward to a review. This is the Kaiko HDMI adapter for GameCube. Lets you use the DV port in the back to get some nice pictures. So we'll see. We'll do some comparison stuff with a generic HDMI scaler and this, and you guys can check it out. And I'm trying to keep up my output this week. Why is my mouse, or my laptop mouse is not working? I have to use that other one. Renee says, "Sup? I'm about to get out of here, Renee. Sorry, you're gonna have to catch the replay. We've been in here for a little bit. All right, deuces, fools. Good night, T, says Guna. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching and listening, as always. And let me set this up because I want to get my timing right. Thank you all for watching and listening. And see you fools next time. Peace out.